mistaken. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
Sure, right. Not fun right now.
Okay, we're back for the second part of tonight's Carroll County Political Forum. We will do about 20 minutes on the jailer's race. We've had the time to hear from you all earlier and appreciate you taking part in the one earlier this spring. Just to remind you, you'll have either 60, 90 seconds for each of the questions. I've failed to do this in the other one, but if you'd like to offer a rebuttal for some reason, we've changed the way we're doing rebuttals. You must signal me during the end, right at the end of the question, and before we complete that question then, and you will have 30 seconds to address it. And you can only address that on issues that your opponent has dealt with in the question and bring up no new issues. So you also have the lights. You'll receive a green light for a 20-second warning and a red light for a 5-second warning. So we'll get started with the opening remarks. Mr. Hawkins, you get to go first with your opening, so you will have 90 seconds for your opening.
I thought it was you, but I'll take it. You got one.
Oh, he got one.
That's
Oh,
all
I'm
right,
sorry.
I'll take it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rodney Hawkins. I pretty much.
We said differently. Go ahead.
Ready?
It's fine. Yeah.
Rodney Hawkins. I was born in Owen County, Kentucky, but I pretty much lived here all my life. I started my school days as a middle school. I graduated from here in 1987. I have a wife and 4 beautiful daughters and 2 grandbabies. And that's what sort of said. I get emotional. It's been a rough week for me. I've had some hard things going on, and it's hard to focus right up here. But we'll do the best I can. All right. Due to the capacity of things that's going on, it's hard to concentrate. So, but basically, I went to school here all my life. I've been policing here approximately about 11 years. 4 in Henry County. I stayed out for 3 years, and I started my career in 2001. Reference to that, I love this community, and I believe there's people in this room that can actually vouch for that. Especially 2 young women, one of them being my wife, how much I am dedicated to this community each and every day. With that being said, I wasn't going to say this, but the other individual was sitting over there, Miss Leanne Roberts. She's really inspired me to do a lot. She's taught me a lot over the years. We worked together on lots of things. And definitely my wife, supportive. I wouldn't be here if she hadn't given me 100%. If she'd given me 99, I wouldn't be here today. So thank you. My time is up.
All right, thank you. I do apologize to you for getting confused. I'm very simple, 1, 2, and so that threw me off. But it'll all work out anyway. So, Mr. Gosser, you have 90 seconds.
My name is Ryan Gosser. I'm the Democratic candidate for sheriff here in the county. I'm not a lifelong resident of Carroll County either. I'm a retired state trooper. My entire career, I've lived in this county. I've been here since 2001. I'm very ingrained in the community. My lovely wife, Mary Beth, she's been at First National Bank for quite some time. Both my kids, Colton and Wyatt, are members of the school system here, and we're planning to stay here. We're not going anywhere either. We love this community. This is what Henry County was when I was a kid. Henry County's growing now, and I like the small community that we have here a whole lot better. So with that being said, I am the Democratic candidate, and we'll get on with the show.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I guess I failed to introduce everybody. We have Mr. Rodney Hawkins is the Republican candidate for sheriff, and Mr. Ryan Gosser is the Democratic candidate for sheriff. I got off my script a little bit there. So we'll go ahead and get into the questioning. The first question this evening is 90 seconds. Since we started wrong, we'll keep going that way. Mr. Gosser, you get to go first on this one. Both of you are experienced law enforcement officers. Please share with us what sets you apart from your challenger and why voters should cast their ballot for you. So you'll have 90 seconds.
With my experience with the Kentucky State Police, I had the opportunity to be involved in many different aspects of law enforcement. Also, the sheriff's office is not just about law enforcement, the administration part as well. I grew up in a family that owned businesses. I worked very hard in those businesses, worked in other businesses as well growing up. So I do have that background for the administrative side of the sheriff's office. With the state police, I did everything from buying drugs to working on murder investigations to writing tickets. All that combined, it was all in there. The last 10 years, I worked dogs with the state police, had the privilege of working bomb dogs and drug dogs as well. Through that process in and of itself, that gave me a lot of experience in different aspects. Along with all of that is also just simply dealing with people. I've always had great compassion for people, whether they're in their lowest of lows or highest of highs. And it's very important to understand where a person is when you're dealing with them. Just because they've made a mistake and they're going to jail does not make them a bad person. So it's very, very important to treat everyone with respect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hawkins, you have 90 seconds.
I don't have any notes, but I'm gonna do the best I can here. I'm from this community, and I know a lot of you all personally, and I've dealt with quite a few of you. I've been in law enforcement. I've done tremendous training as far as DEA school for probably about a month over my duration of training. I've done a lot of drug investigations type work. I have worked murders. I have worked thefts. I'm overzealously, anybody out here that's been a victim that I've worked for them, they can tell you that I will do all the best I can to make sure that situation and those needs are met, as well as the best of my ability to apprehend the perpetrator. I have worked zealously throughout my career to make every community that I've worked in, especially this one, being my home community, the best as it can be. I have worked tirelessly doing that. I have, through those, being able to work and being able to serve my community, it desires me to see and watch young kids grow up, to look up to you and remember you when I don't remember them, if that makes any sense. In other words, when the kids are little, they grow up to be teenagers. You remember me? You helped me out. Well, yeah, I mean, that makes you feel good when somebody says that to you. But me personally, I have got as much training as probably any law enforcement agency person, as far at my level at 17 years, that anybody else has. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. This next question will be one for 60 seconds, and it will begin back with Mr. Hawkins. Running for office is like a job interview, and in that case, the employer always wants to know an example of your work from the past. Please tell us about an important case in which your work made a difference in solving it and bringing about justice. And this is 60 seconds.
I'm trying to think of a perfect case. I had a bunch of them. I had one recently. Of course, I've slept overnight. I had one recently that somebody I go to church with. We had no real suspects at the time, and there wasn't no really hard evidence left at the scene. And zealous of me being a law enforcement in this community, knowing lots of people, and using just a little bit of what you know about the area, it led me to a situation where I found a little trace evidence that allowed me to arrest 7 people on a burglary here just recently, and or apprehend them, either in this particular case or 2 other burglary cases. And and what makes it so gratifying is these people actually, they, which I don't expect anything, because I try to be humble, but they was just overjoyed that some of their items were returned. And it took about a week and a half to try to even get any of the property back, of hard investigation, which was found somewhere in another county, over just a little bit of, actually, one little small, minute item. So I guess it's my time.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Gosser, you have 90 seconds. Excuse me, that's 60 seconds, I apologize.
The case that comes to my mind was years and years ago in Monterey, Kentucky. The Owen County Sheriff's Office called me late one evening and said that they had found a marijuana roach on a juvenile female. They didn't know what to do. I was due off. I took it upon myself. I stayed out. I went to Owen County. This little marijuana roach, through my investigation, turned into a huge drug cartel ring that went all the way to Mexico. About 72 hours later, and no sleep and lots of interviews, because I was capable and able to interview these people and get on their level and talk to them, we were able to bring forth a lot of information and tie all this together and wound up getting 2 individuals in Monterey 60 years apiece for their ties to the Mexican drug cartel. Thank you.
All right, thank you. This will be the last question before we go to our close, because this time really flies on these this night. This one will be a 90-second question. We'll begin with Mr. Gosser. Sheriff Philip Marshall came in a tough time for the sheriff's office and has gotten things back in line. Are there programs or procedures he put in place that you want to continue, expand, or make other changes to? If you can elaborate on that.
I want to start by saying Sheriff Marshall has done an excellent job. He was given a big ball of mess, and he's made something good out of it. With that being said, my plans, the main thing that I have heard when I've been on the campaign trail is just that the deputies are seen more and in the county more. And that is my #1 goal, is to get the deputies out there more and more. They're doing a good job, but it can be even better. Just get them out there more and more, be seen by people, and work the cases that they're given. Also, I look forward to working well with both the state police and the Carrollton Police Department, and getting the deputies back into the school system as well. Right now, we currently have 3 school resource officers that are working for the Carrollton Police Department. However, I would like to get some programs set up for the deputies to go into the school as well. It's important that our kids are not scared of any color uniform. I don't care if it be gray, brown, or blue. It doesn't matter. Our kids need to know that they're important to us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hawkins, you have 90 seconds on this.
Yes, Sheriff Marshall has done an excellent job. Me and him work extremely close together, if anybody's ever talked or mentioned it. Sheriff Marshall took over a difficult position, but with the help, not be arrogant, with me and him together, we brought the situation to hand. As far as what I'd like to do is, this community, we should be the ones that take care of this community. Us Sheriff's Department, we shouldn't have to rely, not to use the resource if we need it. We shouldn't have to rely on another agency to help us take care of our community. So I suggest that we need more deputies to be able to do this. And I'm going to overzealously, if I get elected, to see that possibly happens. Because we can't rely on somebody else to take care of the people that we live with every day. And with Mr. Marshall is a God gift to us. I just want everybody to know that. He's a fine man, and with his wisdom, everybody should have a little piece of that. And he's made me a lot better person than I am, and taught me a lot of things that just here recently that you can't learn from nothing but the best. I want to commend Sheriff Marshall, but this sheriff's office actually is going fairly smooth with what we got to do it with. And we're out here every day, and we are in the county whenever we're out there. as long as it allows us, but our call volume is very, very, very high with 3 deputies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You want to stay up there, you can. You'll get the, beginning on the closing remarks. You'll have 90 seconds for your close, and you can go ahead when you're ready.
All I gotta say is, I'm not a politician, I'm a public servant. And if anybody really knows me, and there's a few of you out there that do somewhat, that I'm here for you. You and you only. I'm here to protect you, to serve you, to do what it takes to make this community better, and your family's lives better, or anyone's lives better. And if I'm given that opportunity, you'll see what'll happen. And actually, I still do that to this day to some, to all that I encounter that needs that. I've been on the Sheriff's Department since 2013, which is totally different than any other agency I've been at due to the fact that the higher responsibilities and the workload that we all have to do is mandated by law, as well as law enforcement, as well as vehicle inspections, on down the line. But if elected, I will see that things get done that need to fit everyone's needs to some way that's reasonable, every aspect that's reasonable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Gosser, you have 90 seconds for your closing remarks.
In closing, I'd just like to say that my track record with the Kentucky State Police was impeccable. I enjoyed my time with them. It was time to retire and do something different. I've been at the Carrollton Police Department since then, still working my drug dog, Zach. He'd be going to the sheriff's office with me because he is mine now. I'm very, very ingrained in the community with my kids through 4-H, Parks and Rec. They play all the sports, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, all of that. I'm ingrained in this community as well. This community means a lot to me. Over the last 15, 16 years, I've made a lot of really, really good and close friends here in this community. And I'm here for them and everybody else as well. With that being said, I'd like to ask for your vote on November the 6th, and I thank everyone for being here.
Okay. I'd like to thank both Ryan Gosser, the Democratic candidate, and Rodney Hawkins, the Republican candidate, both running for sheriff, for your participation and time this evening in the forum. We'll take a few minutes break. If the candidates for magistrate want to come forward, we will get you all seated and be ready to go with the next segment.